Ooh, already 4:03. Hello, hello, hello. Good afternoon, everybody. Hello, hello, hello. Come on in, please. If you are on Facebook, please like and share. If you are on YouTube, make sure you are subscribed to my YouTube channel. If you are on Instagram, go ahead and send this live to somebody. So if you're on Facebook, hit like and share. If you're on Instagram, you have to send the live to somebody via in their messages. And if you're on YouTube, you can send it to somebody also. But just make sure that you um, like and subscribe while you are there. Oh boy. So yes, it is Sound Off Saturday today. It is the first Saturday of 2024. Woohoo! It is the first Saturday of the new year. And 6 days into 2024, we have already been invited to some interesting conversations, to some interesting dialogue, and some interesting discussions. So, because of that, the microphone has to come out. The microphone's got to come out because the first 6 days of this year have already been a piece of work. So, welcome, welcome, welcome to Sound Off Saturday. Hey, I see y'all coming in on Instagram. I see you coming in on Facebook. If you make comments on Facebook, I'll know that the comment section is working. And those of you that are on YouTube, thank you so much for joining me also. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I am going to use my microphone. I'm going to try to behave, Anaya. But I want to give it a little juice because it's been a while. Hello, hello, can you hear me? Oh, okay. But it's been a while since I actually charged it at all. So let me give it a little bump. Let me give it a little juice and then I'll come back to it. But it's right here. It's not far. It's not far. All right, so y'all come on in on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Y'all come on in. It is the first Saturday of 2024 and there is plenty to talk about. Plenty to talk about. Plenty to talk about. I want y'all to look at something right behind me if you could see this. Those of you that are on IG, you can see it probably more, a little bit clearer. And those of you that are on Facebook, let me adjust the camera so you can see it a little bit. You can see I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 sticky notes. Let me adjust a little bit more for the Facebook people. There you go. If you could see them, see all of those 9 sticky notes. This is actually a picture that Corey and I took, our engagement picture photos. Um, and we had this at our wedding. That's why that's why it's a bunch of signatures here. But this right here, I have to tell you about this right here before I get started. I have to tell you about that right there. This is like my productivity system. This is how I get stuff done. And I did this during the pandemic. Did I? Yes, I did this during the pandemic. And the funny thing about this is, right now I'm in classes for my administrative certification and education so that I can move into an administrative position. And we had to do a presentation on our productivity system. Mind blowing. I was like, wow, like that was an assignment. And basically, the assignment was explain how you get things done, like how you are with keeping up with dates and emails and messages, how you clear your calendar, what do you use? And so I have this because this on each sticky note, it shows me like a thing, like here it says blessing bags and beyond. And then I have next to it, I have Wednesdays. So all the different things that I do, blessing bags beyond, social media, my career, music, dance, sports, HOA, Tatum and Taylor, the little candle gift thing that they had, ministry, aka any routines. I have each thing on there, and then I have the day or days that should be dedicated to those things because what I was realizing was that if you don't, you can get so engulfed in doing one thing that you forget about some of the other things. Now, I don't just use this, but this is a visual for me to see. I use my Google Calendar, I use my phone calendar, I use a hard calendar, all kind of stuff. But I thought that that assignment was so important. And obviously it's important, or my professor wouldn't have assigned it, but very important for all of us to look at what our productivity system is and how we actually get things done. So I thought that was pretty cool. So this is a part of my productivity system. All the different areas of my life have their own sticky note and the days that I should be focused on them. So, Sound Off Saturday, my social media stuff is dedicated to Saturdays, and that's what this is. So, listen, it's 2024, it's the first Saturday of the new year, and so many things have happened already. And I don't even have, y'all know I usually have my regular sticky notes. Oh, here they are, my good sticky notes. This year, I'm gonna get posted on here. Y'all tag the Post-it note people to sponsor me. But there's so much to talk about. There's so much to talk about. Now, I have to do a quick intro after I told y'all about my productivity system. I want to do a quick intro because some people on here do not know me. I found that out. I was going back through and I was reading some comments from some old lives, and I had people that didn't know me, and that's fine. So, my name is Jamila. It is Jamila Galt. And yes, I do have titles that go with my name, but that's not who I am. That's not who I'm identifying with for the purposes of this podcast and this live. So yes, I am a preacher. Yes, I am an educator. Yes, my husband is a pastor, so that means I'm a first lady. Yes, I'm a mother. Yes, I'm a wife. Yes, whatever other things. Yes, I own a nonprofit called Blessing Bags and Beyond. You know, and the list goes on and on and on. I'm a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. I am the secretary of my HOA. Position will be relinquished this month. And a number of other things. And I say that because when I come on this platform and I'm doing my Sound Off Saturday, I talk about everything. Maybe some people feel like a preacher shouldn't be talking about these kind of things. Maybe some people feel like a teacher shouldn't be talking about these kind of things. Maybe somebody feels like whatever. And that's perfectly fine. You are well within your rights and your bounds, have your own opinion. But what I'm telling you is that does not matter for what I'm doing. I like to think I'm pretty smart, so I don't really say or do things that are going to get me in quote unquote some trouble. But I will tell you, at the end of the day, you damned if you do and you damned if you don't. Oops, you just are, right? When you toe the line, when you walk the line, when you do everything right, you say everything right, you're right, somebody pick you apart anyway. Then when you don't do it, they still pick you apart. So at the end of the day, what is the lesson? The lesson is to just be yourself and do what you're going to do and trust God to do the rest. And that's all to it. So I am not always going to get on here talking about spirituality, so to speak, and religion or Christianity, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Or that made me think about Jamal Bryant to put on here. But I will touch on those things. I will, because that's a big part of who I am. It's a big part of my culture and all that good stuff. So let's open it up with that. Okay? I am who I am. I'm going to say what I'm going to say. I'm going to share what I'm going to share. And if this big mouth at times gets me in trouble, I'll deal with the fallout and the consequences of that. Okay? And if you don't like things that I share here, or again, you don't think that it is becoming of a preacher, pastor's wife, whatever, to be sharing some of the things that I'm sharing, that's okay too. We all have our opinions. And it is important that we think for ourselves. I don't expect anyone to be a puppet. You believe what you believe. I believe what I believe. Okay. But I am a very well-rounded and well-versed person. I'm just going to tell you that. I'm very well-rounded, very well-versed. I religiously went to church on a regular basis growing up. I was a church kid. I was involved in church. I traveled with church. I led in church. I sang. I danced. I was an alkalite. I did everything you could think to do in church. I was in church a lot. I was quite involved. And my household also had parties on the weekends. Dominoes, spades, bid with. So my point is, I'm a very well-versed person, and I'm probably not ever going to, and I try not to say never and always, but more than likely, I will not only stick to one topic. All right. So let's jump right in here. Let's jump right in here. And I want to start off with two serious things. I did not realize that there was a mass shooting already in 2024. So we're 6 days into the new year, and I did not realize that there had been a mass shooting at a middle school in Iowa. I did not know that. Um, Maybe it was me caught up in the Cat Williams news. Maybe it was me caught up in somebody else suing Tiny and T.I. for sexual assault, and or the picture that T.I. posted of Tiny without her makeup and such, which is not a problem with me. I mean, this is what I look like with no makeup. I got a little gloss on, but um, maybe I was caught up in the rigmarole. Maybe we were caught up in Jonathan Majors and his fiasco. I don't know, but I did not realize that there was another mass shooting, and that a sixth grade student lost their life. And I know his name was Amir. His first name was Amir, which is typically a name that is attributed to people of color. I have a cousin named Amir. I know of people that I went to school with named Amir, male and female. And all of those people are Black, African American, but then I also know Amirs that are Arabic, Muslim, maybe as a religion. And so I don't know the context. I did not read that and prepare to talk a lot about that today. But what I did hear from the one article that I did click on really quickly through the video, it said that this student had been bullied for a long time, which is very interesting because he's a sixth grader. And usually in sixth grade, you are maybe 12 at the most. So when you're talking about a long time, that means all of elementary school, I'm assuming, or at least just a significant amount of time. I don't know if that was the reason for the shooting. I hear the principal is in critical condition from shielding other kids from getting shot and jumped in the line of fire. So the principal, a sixth grader, is dead. The principal is in critical condition, and I did hear that several other students were hospitalized as well. And so I mean, honestly, at this point, what is it that anyone wants anyone to say? We have to draw the conclusion at this point that even though Columbine in the 90s is kind of what started this consistent trend, because there could have been shootings before, but started the consistent trend. What I thought would have been the breaking point was Sandy Hook, because there were more children killed at that school in Connecticut, in elementary school, that were not of color. And that wasn't the breaking point. And so because that wasn't the breaking point, I don't know that we have a breaking point. I literally don't think there's anything else that can happen. There's not a specific group that could be targeted that would make anyone who has been opposed to stricter gun laws and restrictions change their mind. I think that the reality is we have to work backwards now. I'm not saying we shouldn't lobby for policy, because we absolutely should. We got to keep pressing the envelope and keep pressing people to make change. At the same time, I think schools, churches, mosques, movie theaters, parks, museums, restaurants, I think that these places have to start taking some drastic measures in relation to guns and restrictions. I don't know all the laws, ins and outs, but I do feel like if a place says that they don't want people in their place with guns and they put in metal detectors, then you can't come. Or people have to be armed. I know many churches where there are armed people in the congregation. Roll up if you want to. There are many churches where there are armed people in the congregation. Roll up if you want to. Act a fool if you want to. Mosque, all kind of places. And so what I'm saying is, because we know that we have some terrible people that represent Americans in Congress and are refusing to do anything, but they are willing to continue to sacrifice the life of kids and the life of educators on a regular and daily basis, then I think that it is within those institutions' power and right to enact some laws and policies that will protect them. That's all that I'm saying. Because it is unbelievably sad to keep getting on here, on anywhere, and talking about mass shootings. They don't care. They don't care. White children have been shot, black children have been shot, Middle Eastern children have been shot and killed, Hispanic children have been shot and killed, Asian it's been a variety. We've hit a lot of the subgroups. It still didn't matter. It happened at the Country Music Awards. It's happened in movie theaters. It's happened in churches. It's happened in mosques. It's happened at the park. It's happened in museums. It definitely keeps happening in schools. Also, there's a unique situation to schools that I do think we have to address. I'm not going to spend long on this because this is a topic I can't really, I'm just going to tell you, I can't really keep it a buck with exactly what I want to say and related to it. But when it comes to schools and it comes to bullying and it comes to targeting, we are in a very difficult situation because unfortunately some people are raising rotten kids. I hate to say that, but I'm just being frank. Some people are raising children who think it's hilarious to target and harass people. And maybe their parents are that way, and maybe not. I'm not saying that because your kid misbehaves in school that makes you a bad parent. That's not necessarily true. I know that. Kids are influenced by social media, movies, TV, sports. They're influenced by all sorts of things. You could be doing everything right. I absolutely understand that. But what I'm saying is schools are in tough positions when it comes to bullying and targeting and attacks and things like that, and the things that can be done and that should be done. And what I am going to tell you is there's not enough parents speaking up. And I'm just talking that from my own experience. There are not enough parents. And I know I'm an aspiring administrator. So in no way, shape, or form am I saying that I want an office full of parents all the time being upset with me or telling me what's going on. But not enough parents are using their voices. Some kids are going home and talking to their parents, and their parents are not engaging for whatever reason. I don't know. But it's unfortunate that there was another mass shooting. And I certainly hope that schools and all these other institutions will work to make change since our crummy people in office refuse to. That's what I'm going to say about that. Then we're going to talk about Dr. Claudine Gay right quick. I know y'all want to get to Cat Williams and Shannon Sharpe, and I'm going there, and Puffy and T.D. Jakes and Taraji and The Pay and Jamal Bryant and T.I. and Tiny and Jonathan Majors. I'm going all there today. But I got to talk about Dr. Claudine Gay. Dr. Claudine Gay is the now former president of Harvard University. Shortest tenure in Harvard University's history, a black woman, 6 months. So she lasted a semester, half a school year. The accusations were plagiarism. And in reading a little bit more and finding out a little bit more, the plagiarism was specifically surrounding a thesis, a paper where she referenced and or referred to and or cited and or discussed a body of work that she is the co-author of. Did y'all hear what I said? I need to see some people. I need y'all to just type in the comments and say hey or something so I know that y'all are here. I see you're here, but I need some engagement. I know the first topic was really serious and people didn't want to say much, but I need you to type in the comments, hey, that's crazy, whatever, so I can see that you heard what I said. Part of the plagiarism accusations had to do with a body of work that Dr. Gay referenced, used, cited, discussed that is related to a body of work that she co-authored. Oh, I just thought about something. I gotta jump. IG people, hold tight. Don't go anywhere. I'm coming right back. I promise. I promise. Y'all on Facebook, hold tight. I think I just discovered what's going on. Yep, I forgot to do it. All right, there we go. I'm back. I am so sorry. I apologize. I completely apologize because I forgot to make my post public. You all know my page is private, but when I do these sound offs, I make them public. And I couldn't see the comments because it wasn't public. I apologize. So jump back on here with me if you left me for IG for a minute and you forgot. I'm back. I'm back. I'm back. I'm back. So what I'm talking about is Dr. Claudine Gay. And I'm saying that Dr. Claudine Gay, who was the president of Harvard University, okay? She was the president. Hold on, I'm just trying to send the people my live again from IG that were on, and maybe they jumped off for a minute. Dr. Claudine Gay, who was the president of Harvard University, she just resigned. And she resigned because she was being accused of plagiarism. And one of the plagiarism accusations, hear me clearly, not all of them, but one of them, if not the only one, is referencing a body of work that she co-authored. And so if I write a book right now with my husband and then I reference that book later, I don't expect to be called on plagiarism. We wrote that book together. And anything that we shared in there, we share, or else we wouldn't have wrote the book together. But let's be clear. Let's be clear before we get to the rest of this mess. Let's be clear that this is not just about her potentially plagiarizing a piece of work. The group of people and the man specifically that created critical race theory, Frenzy, and the people who are after making sure affirmative action never happens anywhere ever, are behind this, and they will be coming for more women in more positions of power. And I firmly believe that they will be coming for more Black women in positions of power than any other group of people. There is a thinking and there is a disdain for Black women moving up in big, large corporate spaces. And I'm not saying that it doesn't exist for men, but I'm a Black woman, so my experience is based on what I spend the most time reading about. And there is this thinking that the only reason that these women are there is because of affirmative action, when it has been proven over and over again by research and numbers. And I know people can cook up research and numbers any way they want to, but the stats speak for themselves. It has been shown time and time again that affirmative action is not something that benefits Black women significantly more than Caucasian women. That has been shown over and over again. It's the same thing with welfare. It's these fallacies or these false narratives that people keep putting out. And even though I am who I am, I'm not going to say I'm just a nobody, because I'm not a nobody. I'm somebody. But it takes people like us constantly speaking up and messing up these algorithms so that people can hear what the truth is. Affirmative action is not anything that has significantly benefited Black women. But we are and will be punished for it. The fallout is coming. She is just the beginning. She's not even the beginning. I think someone before her it happened to. But she definitely is the beginning because it was so public. I hate that she resigned because I think she could have fought this, and I think she knows she could have fought this. But I think she is setting herself up for a great slanderous lawsuit. It is mind-boggling that she's still going to work at this institution also, because the same people that want her out and ousted and the same people sitting in these hearings are going to be asking her if they can pick her up a sandwich from Potbelly when they go to lunch during the work week. Make no mistake, the same people that want her ousted of this position, And she's staying at this institution. She's going to go in another office in whatever position she probably had. They're going to be the same people asking her if she wants something from Panera Bread. And some of them she will know because she will remember sitting across from them being interrogated, but the others she won't. Because they will be the ones who were in secret writing notes, supporting this mess. And then they're going to be asking her if she wants a cup of broccoli cheddar soup or if she wants a bowl of broccoli cheddar soup from Panera Bread. That's who these people are. That's who they've always been. People who do things behind your back and then try to turn around and act like it wasn't them. Nevertheless, I don't want to get deep into that. I agree with you, Tanisha. She should take her accomplishments and her achievements to a historically Black university and college. And we are starting to see great trends of not only sports, athletics, and sponsorships going to HBCUs, but more professors like her doing that. And I hope in the future she goes somewhere where she is valued. Because I don't care how many DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion programs they create in institutions and universities. If they don't want you there, they don't want you there. It's just the reality. And I'm not saying every institution doesn't want you there. Don't hear that from what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is sometimes these DEI programs are just, they're smoke and mirrors. They're not real. They're not real. If you really want some diversity, equity, and inclusion, I feel like you don't have to create a program to do it because it's already happening. It's visible. It's seen. People know you for it, right? You can be you can be an institution that hasn't had a significant amount of people of color in it and still be a diverse, equitable, and inclusive institution. But these DEI programs are not doing anybody any favors. So the man who created critical race theory, the man who created the frenzy of critical race theory, and the man who's on the witch hunt for affirmative action, and his roadies, and some of those groups like the Moms of Liberty group, that's a big group in Virginia. Some of these groups that have new names, they don't call themselves the Confederate Daughters anymore and things like that, or Daughters of the Confederacy. They've changed their name. Some of those groups, they are doing exactly what I told you. They are on a witch hunt, and they will be tearing down and trying to tear down these women, especially these Black women who have risen to power. We have a Black superintendent in Prince William County, a woman superintendent. And she is new to us. She's new to us from Chicago. And I heard when she was coming in, the only reason she got that job is because she's a Black woman. This is somebody who has the credentials, and she did not have her doctorate degree completed when she got the position, but it was finished before she put her strategic plan in place. But these people are still insisting. Those people insisted, and honestly, the troubling part is they felt comfortable enough to kind of whisper it around me. It was not said directly to me, but I've heard it. I've heard it 3 times in 3 different settings, that the only reason she has that job is because of affirmative action, which leads me to believe that the level of ignorance that those people spurted out of their mouth is astronomical. Because once again, affirmative action does not largely benefit Black women. So let me keep going. Let me keep going on. I hope that Dr. Gay sues Harvard for every penny that she can get for these egregious accusations. Egregious. They are egregious. And those people knew going in that they were going to do this. That's why they did. It's like they hired her to make her a spectacle. Make no mistake. They didn't just find out about this. A place like Harvard doesn't hire somebody and not know exactly who they are, the body of work that they've done, their accomplishments, their achievements, their history, if they went to jail, if they were on drugs. A place like that doesn't hire you and not know all the nitty-gritty. They knew. They wanted this on her, and they hired her to do this publicly. Make no mistake. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. But I do believe that things like that happen and they happen intentional. All right, let's keep going. Let's keep going. On another kind of serious note, we saw this man lunge at a judge. Ooh, my goodness. A man was getting sentenced at court, and the judge was, if you watch the video, she was being quite, she has some words to say. She was being quite punchy. I learned that word this week, punchy. She was being quite punchy. Little sarcasm in her voice and things like that. And I guess he didn't like what she said, or maybe it was just built up. Because basically what she said in that moment was, it sounded like she was sick of seeing him. Sounded like he had been there before. And he had a laundry list of other things that maybe they had given him a break on. And she said, no, not this time. We got to do something. It's getting ridiculous. That's kind of, I'm paraphrasing what she was saying. And he lunged at her. All we could see is in the screen. And all the bailiffs and everybody next to him and around them, they all need to be fired. Because this man, he was behind the table. It's not like they couldn't have seen him going. But he got all the way up there, lunged at her, and roped his arms around her. I mean, he literally got to her. This is what we're starting off with, in 2024. I just had to insert that in. I don't think that's funny. Don't get me wrong. I used to want to be a judge. I always, when I was growing up, I wanted to be, here was the train of what I wanted to be, which is why I like politics. I wanted to be a juvenile criminal defense lawyer, because I feel very strongly about whatever you do with our juveniles in the criminal justice system determines if they're going to be repeat offenders, if they're really going to change their life around, et cetera, et cetera. After being a juvenile criminal defense attorney, I wanted to be a lawyer. And then after being a lawyer, I wanted to retire and own a daycare. That was always what I wanted to do all the way through. So I certainly don't think it's funny because being a judge is being in the hot seat anyway, So I certainly don't think it's funny for someone to be attacked, for a judge to be attacked, because that's a career where you are putting your life on the line. We've heard of judges getting shot and killed, right? Judges have to deliver justice and sentencing, and that can be very hard. So I definitely, when I saw that video, I did not laugh. I was completely shocked that no one did anything around him, because he was behind the table. So he had a minute. He didn't lunge over the table. He went around the table and then lunged over the desk at her. And he did physically attack her. So whatever he was being sentenced for, double it, because it's over. Let's keep going. Now, I know this is what y'all been waiting for. But I got to jump back before I get to Cat Williams. Hold your mule, as Tabitha Brown will say. Hold your mule, hold your peace. I'm going to get to Cat Williams and Club Shay Shay. I'm going to get to it. But I got to back up because some things happened on New Year's Eve or right before New Year's Eve that I got to get to. So, Pastor Jamal Bryant, who is the lead pastor of New Birth in Atlanta, Dr. Jamal Bryant. Jamal Bryant came from Baltimore. His father is a famous bishop, Bishop John Bryant. Y'all know Jamal Bryant. He is Giselle's ex-husband, Giselle from the Housewives of Potomac. Controversial pastor, always has been, but he is accomplished. He's achieved. He's a nice looking guy, civil rights, he's a great advocate. He's a Kappa. Jamal Bryant I want to say it was the last Sunday, but I could be wrong. Jamal Bryant had members of the Palestinian community join his church one Sunday. Not join as in they wanted to become members, but I mean they shared the worship space together. And it looked like an amazing service. So I'm going to repeat that. Jamal Bryant, who was a Christian pastor of New Birth at ATL, had a Palestinian congregation join him for a service. And I think they talked a lot. They talked about a lot about the history between, Palestinians and the Jewish people, Palestine and Israel. I think they talked about the conflict, what they could do to be at peace, all kind of things. And a lot of people had something to say. They thought that was inappropriate because, there are people have been silenced for speaking up for and supporting Palestinians if they are not heard supporting Israelis and the Jewish community as well. And so it can be difficult to try to use your voice to talk about those things if you are fearful of being canceled, right? But let me say this really quickly. Our church, Providence Baptist Church in Leesburg, Virginia, I'm very proud of this. We are a Baptist church. We are a Christian church. We have been having multicultural services ever since I've been at Providence. Corey and I got married in 2006. So clearly I've been going to Providence since then. Some of our Fifth Sunday celebrations, which are usually youth Sundays, we have had multicultural services where we've had people from the Baha'i faith, from the Jewish faith, from the Muslim faith, from who am I missing? The Sikh faith, S-I-K-H, and then other branches of Christianity, be it Presbyterian, be it United Methodist, be it whatever. And we have always had an amazing time because our focus has always been about peace and harmony and unity and learning more about each other and realizing that we have more in common than we do difference. And so that's what I always appreciated that about my pastor, Reverend Dr. Herbert C. Love, when I first got to that church, is when I went to him with that vision for the youth department, he welcomed it with open arms. And then not only did my former pastor, Reverend Dr. Herbert C. Love, welcome that multicultural service with open arms, then of course he allowed us to create and to do what we do. And of course, my current pastor does that too, which happens to be my husband. But what I'm saying is, because we've always had a multicultural service at my church, and we have always had, again, Jewish people, Muslim people from the Baha'i faith, from the Sikh faith, all under our roof. As a matter of fact, we have some newer members that said the reason that they joined is because when they came to our service a couple months before they joined, they saw that we had a multicultural service and we had Muslim children in there and we let them speak and different things like that, because our focus has always been about peace and unity and love and harmony, and we have more in common than we do different. And let me tell you something, and I'm going to say this and be done. If you think that God and your Christianity is so fragile that if you invite a Muslim person, a Jewish person, a Palestinian person, somebody from the Baha'i faith, the Sikh faith, or whatever, and come together in the name of love and peace and unity, that somehow you're going to be punished for that, then I feel very sorry for you. Because I think whenever any of us come together, no matter what religion we are, no matter what relationship we have, age, culture, all that, I think that that's more of a celebratory time than it is a negative time, period. I just think we sell ourselves short. So kudos to Jamal Bryant for doing that. And I know people have had to have some words about it. And then we're going to jump right to William Murphy, who is the pastor of the Dream Center ATL, so another Atlanta church. William Murphy is from Detroit, just so you know. And if you don't know who William Murphy is, Pastor William Murphy he is famous for the song Praise Is What I Do. That's when the world met William Murphy. But if you are from Detroit and or just know anything about William Murphy's been around for a very long time, even prior to Praise Is What I Do. He is a pastor of Dream Center ATL, and on New Year's Eve, he played the Swag Surfing song and he played Walk It Out. Folks are up in arms. Folks are up in arms. They say that is no place for that in the church. That is inappropriate, because they said, maybe he should have even played the instrumental version, maybe, as opposed to playing the version with the words. Now, let me tell you something. Atlanta is a special place, okay? Atlanta is the kind of place where you either love it or hate it. I'm just going to be honest with you. The other thing is this. I am a believer in meeting your congregation and meeting the audience where they are, reading the room, right? If I'm at a service, because I speak a lot, right? If I'm at a service and I walk in, matter of fact, I did a sermon series one time about the Migos at a youth revival. But I knew that was going to be kind of risky, because even though it was a youth revival, I know that that didn't necessarily mean it was going to be primarily youth there. And then I would have to spend all the time explaining who the Migos are, which was crazy, right? But what all good preachers, leaders, speakers, anybody will do is you would read the room. So if I walked up in there and I noticed that even though it's a youth revival, I only saw 2 youth sitting in the corner, that Migos sermon is going out the door. And I'm pulling from something else. And all I'm saying is I think William Murphy is a person like me who maybe read the room. Also, what he played was within context of what he was speaking about. Now, let me say this, and I'm going to be very clear about this because y'all know me. Okay, I got in my closet right now, I have a poster of Tupac, who was my favorite rapper of all time. I have a poster of Chadwick Boseman. Again, y'all know me to be a preacher, a leader, a singer. Y'all know I love Prince. Everything. I love all types of music, and I will blast all types of music all the time. All the time. I have played, and we have played secular music before in our church. Maybe not Swag Surf. Maybe not Walk It Out. But we certainly have played secular music in our church before. Before I Let Go is the first one that pops up in my head. I think we played one time at the end of service. Now, I am a firm believer that everything doesn't have to be in the church. Now, I don't mean it doesn't belong there, but I am a believer that everything doesn't have to be in the church. I'm gonna give you a perfect example. Prince song I Will Die for You, right? There is a gospel artist, Trey McLaughlin, brilliant writer, composer, arranger. He changed that song so that it had more Christian lyrics. And if you listen to I Would Die for You, a lot of the lyrics sound very Christian anyway, or very spiritual. But the chorus was Jesus died for you. Y'all want me to sing it? Y'all want me to sing it? Okay, so the chorus was Jesus died for you, gave his only son for you. That's the chorus. Jesus died for you. Right? That was the chorus. So, my mic is back. Mic, it's on. My mic is on. Prince fans, y'all know what that's from. My mic is on. Anyway, my opinion of that is I don't think that song that the lyrics needed to be changed. I think I would have just sang that song in the church just the way it was. I've done it before. My brother-in-law has played the Purple Rain guitar solo in service before for me. I don't think we have to take everything that's non-Christian and turn it into a Christian thing for us to put it in the church. I think it just is where it is. Some stuff is just separate, and that's okay, right? And again, I will say this. We have played multiple songs in our church before that are not gospel songs, so to speak, because it didn't have, as you just said, Mike, it didn't have profanity, or it didn't have it. It's not a big deal. People were making a comment because there's a line in there about being on hypnotic. And they just were like, if the church is going to do everything the world does, what separates the church different from the world? And at the end of the day, this is what I'm going to say. We have civil liberties and convictions that the Bible speaks of if you are a Bible reader. And even if you're not a Bible reader, go read it anyway and go learn something. We have civil liberties that the Bible does talk about. If it offends somebody else, you probably shouldn't do it. So, for example, if I have a little drink, right? If I have an alcoholic drink, but Mike, my friend Mike on here, feels some kind of way about it, and it inhibits his walk in becoming a Christian, then I probably shouldn't drink. Because now I have become a stumbling block in between Mike and believing in a transformed life, etc., etc., etc. It doesn't say we can't do it. It just talks about being a stumbling block. And what I am saying about William Murphy in that church and anybody in any church is this. If that's not a stumbling block for somebody else, leave it be. Because he has a mission. He has a vision. He has something that God has given him to do, and we don't know what it is specifically. And we don't pastor in Atlanta. And you don't know what his specific mission is or what it needed to be. And they was walking it out because they was walking out from 2023 to 2024. And so because I don't know what his mission and vision is, I can't go ham slam on his decision to play those songs in the church. But what I am going to tell you is this: we have played multiple non-Christian songs in church before. No, we have not played ones with profanity in them. But I'm just saying that I think that we latch on so hard to some of these things that maybe somebody coming in needs to know that William Murphy is okay with Walk It Out so that they can feel comfortable with him and being at that church. Maybe somebody needs to know that. That's all that I'm saying. So if you felt some kind of way about it, of course, you can have your own opinion. I opine, I'm going to start saying that this year because I did not know that was a tense of the word opinion. I opine that what William Murphy did, does, and is doing is between he and God and his mission and his vision for his church, for that community, and for those people. And if at some point he feels some kind of way about it, he will come and he will speak about that. It didn't bother me. Swag Surfing at this point is a Black national anthem. I mean, he could have played the instrumental. I think it would have been just as effective. He didn't play the instrumental, though. He decided to play the version with the words. I don't know how much cussing is in Swag Surfer because usually when I am Swag Surfing, I'm not really listening to the words. I'm only listening for the parts when I know to change the rhythm of what I'm doing. I'm going to be honest. That's a song I don't listen to the words. So I don't know how much language is in there. But from what I heard, there was no profanity in those parts of that song. There definitely was mention of Hypnotic and being at the club and stuff. But it is what it is. It is what it is. Y'all just come on. Let's go. Let's keep going. Okay, I'm almost at Cat Williams. T.I. and Tiny are being sued again for sexual assault. If you all remember, T.I. and Tiny were being sued before from a lady named Sabrina, who used to be friends with Tiny. And Sabrina stepped back big time. I don't know if they paid her. I don't know what happened, but she changed her tune. She still is asserting, or has asserted though, that basically she's been silenced. That it's not that what happened didn't happen, but she's been silenced. Well, somebody else has come forward, and now Sabrina back talking again. Because I follow Sabrina on IG because she has this thing called Glam University with makeup, and I didn't really realize that was even her for a long time. So this person that's suing T.I. and Tiny, get ready for this. I hate to be vivid, but they said because T.I. used his big toe for unwanted assault. Ooh. Child, I didn't even want to say it. I didn't think I was going to say it, but that just sounds crazy. I don't know what. He used his big toe. That is the accusation. I don't know if there are other accusations because I didn't read the documents deeply. No pun intended. Ooh, child. Oh, it's too much. So T.I. and Tiny in the hot seat again. And they were already in the limelight because their son King was acting a fool in 2023, right before Christmas and everything. He was acting a fool at a game, and T.I. had to choke him out a little bit. Hey, ain't nothing wrong with a little physical contact. Those T.I. kids. King been needing to get choked out probably for a minute anyway. Every now and then he just got to reel them back in and let them know you can't do nothing with this, son. You're embarrassing yourself. You're embarrassing the family. And he has had several conversations with King. King is a child who he wants to be from the hood so bad. He wants to be a bad boy. He wanted to have grown up in poverty and got it up out the dirt. And that's how King wanted his life to be. But his life was never like that. From the time King was born, T.I. and Tiny had 2 houses in Atlanta. And I don't care if people do consider them hood rich. Gator boots with the pimped out Gucci suits. I don't care if you're considered hood rich. He wasn't in the hood. And T.I. has been trying to tell him that since the show has been on. We've watched that over some time. So they were already in the news because King was standing on business. Like, but the reality is everybody has that going on with one kid or something. Nobody's kids are perfect. Nobody's family is perfect. So when I look at that, I don't look and say that T.I. and Tiny have been such terrible parents. It just is what it is, you know. And with all them kids they got, if King the only one acting the fool, then great. Give them a round of applause. Because with them 7 kids or however many kids it is, you know, what is Damani, Messiah, Zanae, Deja, King, Major, and Eris. So 7 kids. I said it right. Because I used to watch that show all the time. If King the only one acting like this, give them a round of applause. Because it could have been worse. It could have been worse. All right, let's keep going. Jonathan Majors, y'all. Ooh, Jonathan Majors. Jonathan Majors has been found guilty of assault of his then girlfriend. And he has an exclusive interview that will be coming on Good Morning America. Kang, he who remains. Where my Loki fans at? He who remains has an exclusive interview on Good Morning America that will be showing on Monday. I'm going to watch it. Of course I'm going to watch it. Of course I'm going to watch it. I am who I am. Take it or leave it. Because I want to hear what he has to say. I am always a little put off by people who get in trouble, who then attach a black woman to their side for some credibility and support. So I was a little put off by that with him and Meagan Good. Even if Meagan Good was the woman that he allegedly was seeing when he was trying to break up with this woman. I'm put off by that. I just am. And listen, you like who you like, you love who you love. I'm not a person on here saying that you gotta be what, hey, you like who you like, you love who you love. But when you in trouble, it's like the Escape song, who can I run to? Why does it always have to be us picking up the pieces? Now, I know Meagan Good and Devin Franklin had that kind of weird relationship going on, and then she got herself free from that, and I think she's just trying to build herself back up too, but I just didn't like the optics of it. I didn't like the optics of it because I feel like he was pretending. And I feel like she was too. But maybe she got a bag out of it. I don't know. People have different motives. Maybe they actually love each other, like each other. I don't know. Whatever. I just felt some kind of way about that. But what was most disturbing of this was hearing the recording of him talking to this girlfriend about how he wanted her basically to be like Michelle Obama and Coretta Scott King. Now, I know Rich Paul married Adele, or Adele married Rich Paul. They done signed all kind of prenups, and y'all think that they are the premier relationship in the world because y'all think that Adele is so respective of culture, of black culture. You think Adele is so respective of other people's culture that he basically got a prize. And so I have seen some comparisons saying, you know, if Jonathan Majors wanted his girlfriend to be like Michelle Obama, Coretta Scott King, he should have bounced to somebody like Adele. And what I'm going to say is this. This is what happens when you're trying to build that and create that instead of just going to get that. Can I say that again in the microphone? This is what you get for trying to turn a woman into a Coretta Scott King, a Michelle Obama, instead of going to get you one. Y'all need the echo? Because when you get a woman that is of that character and stature and behavior and achievement and accomplishment and prowess and character, you don't have to worry about her acting like that, because that's how she is. So I'm going to say what mamas and daddies have been saying to kids since the beginning of time. You get what you get and you don't throw a fit. You got what you got. That's what you wanted. That's what you wanted. You cannot take, woo-wee, listen to me. You cannot take green bean casserole and turn it into Big Mama's green bean and potatoes. It's not the same thing. It ain't even the same recipe. It's not going to come out the same. You can't take green bean casserole and turn it into grandma green bean and potatoes. Green bean casserole is green beans and cream of mushroom, and some onion straws, all baked together. And if you like it, you like it. Love it. But that ain't the same thing as some green beans with some potatoes and some salt and some pepper and some ham hocks. Or if you off the pork, some turkey necks. It ain't the same thing. You can't get Kraft macaroni and cheese and be mad that it ain't Big Mama's macaroni and cheese. Because when you shook that powdered cheese in the bag like this with the water and put it in the microwave, it's not going to give you the same thing that the baked macaroni and cheese going to give you with the 5 different cheeses. Anyway, you get what you get and you don't throw a fit. So I'm curious what he gonna say on this interview on Monday. I'll be tuning in, Jonathan Majors, Kane, he who remains, because you have just embarrassed yourself when we saw you running through the city like you were running through Gotham to save Gotham from the Joker, and you were running away from this woman so that you wouldn't get in trouble. But the reality is, if you maybe had chosen someone with the characteristics that you actually wanted, instead of trying to mold and shape somebody into something that they not, that they aren't, oh, you wouldn't be in this in the first place. All right, y'all. I'm almost at Cat Williams. Gypsy Rose. Y'all know about Gypsy Rose? Gypsy Rose just got out of prison. Gypsy Rose Blanchard is the young lady who we learned about years ago is a victim of Munchausen syndrome by her mother, Dee Dee Blanchard. Munchausen syndrome by proxy is really a bad way of saying a person who is like torturing their own child, making them sick, claiming they are sick, doing things to them to make them sick, be it procedures, be it giving them a little poison, a little bleach or whatever so that they can be sick. Anyway, this girl, Gypsy Rose Blanchard, and her boyfriend at the time orchestrated to kill her mother because that was the only way she could get away from her. They did that. He did it. He actually did the act. She was sentenced to 10 years in prison. She just did 8 years and got out. He was sentenced to life. She's out. She's 32, I think. She's been all over the news. Check out her story because it's really sad. And I don't know anybody who would want to kill their own mother, but she felt like she didn't have a choice. I hope that she gets the right people around her. She is married now, but I hope that she gets the right people around her because people are going to be coming after her for movie deals, book deals, and all that kind of stuff. And I hope she just is not exposed, drugs, different things like that, because she's had a hard enough life as it is. All right, come on, let's talk about Cat Williams. Y'all want to talk about Cat Williams. Come on. The Cat Williams interview. The first thing I want to talk about is the gems that came out of that interview. The first gem was that he shouted out teachers and how this country refuses to pay teachers what we are due and what we should earn, and the level of disrespect there is for teachers. But we want teachers to produce the most with the least. So thank you, Cat Williams, for saying that and for sharing that. And I hope that all the 50 million people that watch this interview, that are educators, that are impacted by educators, that know educators, that work for educators, that love educators, I hope that they will do something about it by hearing things like that from people like you. The second great thing that came out of this was him talking about how sad it was that Taraji had to basically kind of embarrass herself to say, yeah, I'm a big actress, but I ain't getting paid that much. And I do think that that is an embarrassing thing for somebody like her. Taraji is very accomplished. And for her to assert that they weren't even going to give her a lot of money for The Color Purple adaptation of the Broadway musical is in and of itself a problem. I did not see The Color Purple yet, so I cannot speak on it. I know it's going to be great, and all of you who did not know it was a musical, I'm sorry that you didn't know it was a musical based off of the 2005 or 6 Broadway musical. It's not a full movie just like the movie. So sorry you didn't do a little bit more research into that, and that you walked into the theater and you heard Fantasia screaming and Tamla Mann singing and Taraji singing and all of this and you didn't like it. Sorry for you. But that's another great thing that came out of that interview. Cat has some great things to share. I think Cat Williams is a comedic genius. He probably is a genius, period, as he asserted in this interview several times. But he's a great storyteller in a different way from Dave Chappelle. There were definitely a lot of truths in what he talked about. We've been hearing about Steve Harvey for years. We've been hearing about the hate against Bernie Mac, the undercover shade from him. DL talked about that 2 years ago. We ain't surprised. We knew that. He just came on to affirm that. I've always liked Mark Curry. And I've heard Mark Curry say some stuff about Steve Harvey for a little while. And you know what? At the end of the day, I'm not sitting here saying that I am gloating or glorying in Cat Williams going on here and, I don't know, blowing folks' face up or eviscerating them or whatever terms you want to use. But I'm going to tell you something. When you've been wronged and when people lie on you and they try to make you something you're not, don't you deserve a rebuttal? Don't you deserve a platform to speak about it? And I think that the industry, every industry, sports, entertainment, art, music, Broadway, comedy, politics, education, journalism, every industry does a great job of discrediting people. They discredit people so much that we wouldn't believe anything that they ever said. And I think that the industry has done a great job of discrediting Cat Williams. I do think he embellished a lot. And I think he says some things that are maybe not necessarily. Come on now. You read 3,000 books each year from ages 8 to 12. Maybe he meant 300 books a year. That's plausible. Mike, I knew you was coming. I knew you were coming. I knew you were coming. But you could run, what did he say? He could run a 4.6 right now. But you know what? The reality is this. I think that Cat Williams is somebody who's kind of been done wrong and blackballed in the industry. And I think he deserved this. He's been doing like little interviews here and there and spouting out kind of stuff. But I think that this was a great opportunity for him to just get it all out. And I was glad to see all the people who came with receipts of how generous Cat Williams has been to them over the years and validating a lot of things that he did say, providing receipts, if you will. I am going to say this. I saw a lot of people saying, do other cultures do this to each other? In other words, they're asserting that only black people tear black people down. That we the only culture that tear each other down. And if you think that that is true, you are a fool. If you think that black people are the only culture that tears each other down, publicly or privately, that is just simply not true. I'm not saying it makes it right, but that just is not true. People got beef all the time. There was a whole Netflix show called Beef. It was pretty good. Y'all watch it? Anyway, it's just not true, y'all. It's just not true. Am I saying that he should have called Faison a fat lie? I'm not saying that he should have done that. Or Ricky Smiley a lie, or Cedric a joke stealer, or Steve a joke stealer, or whatever. I'm not saying that that was necessarily the right thing to do. I do think time and place is important. But I also think, again, when you've been wronged, you deserve to be able to come clear some stuff up. I do. That interview was 2 hours and 46 minutes and 3 seconds. Some of it was uncomfortable to watch. Other parts of it was okay. I do think that, you know, I really wish Cat would talk a little bit more about his upbringing. Shannon probably got the most out of him than anybody. I mean, learning that he left home at 13 and was deemed a genius at some age, 7, 8, etc. But I wish we'd have got a little bit more out of him as it relates to that. But to me, he seems like somebody that's been on his own since he was 13, maybe younger than that. Cat seemed like he'd been out in these streets for years. Just figuring it out, hustling. However he can get it. Go in the corner, make somebody laugh, make a quick buck. I'm just saying, he definitely seems like somebody that has come up a hard way. Whether he chose to come up that way by leaving home or not is not the issue. I'm just saying. He definitely seems like somebody has come up a hard way. Cat Williams, as we have watched Cat Williams over the years, he absolutely has put on a lot of comedians. You know, Cat has that crew. Cat Williams, Lunel, Dave Chappelle runs with the crew too. Melanie Camacho, Red, Grant. You know, that's the crew. That's the tight crew. And I have heard of, because he's done a couple shows out here recently, Constitution Hall, Richmond. I've heard a lot of these shows where he brings on and puts on a lot of these kind of comics, newer comics that he thinks is really funny and or supports him. And I just think that people who do that are great people. I really do. I really think that people who give silently also, like he's done, are great people too. You don't always have to show. That's one thing I said with my nonprofit. I don't want to always display everything that I'm doing, but it is important for me to show people some of the work, especially right now in the place where people are donating their personal money. I want to make sure people know I'm not just putting this money in my pocket and I'm actually doing something with it. But at the same time, you ain't got to show people's faces. You know, you ain't got to show yourself on the streets with a homeless person like, look, I just gave him $50. I completely get that. But what I'm saying is, I think people that have done some of the things that Cat Williams has done, I really think that they are great people. And I think that they are always going to do well in life and do well in life because they do that. Now, I'm not saying if you don't give people money, you ain't going to be nothing in life. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that if you keep your money to yourself or swim in it like DuckTales, that makes you a bad person. But I do think when we are gifted time, talent, resources, to include money, I do think it is meant for us to do more than just embellish in that ourselves. That's all that I'm saying. That's all that I'm saying. And at some point, you're going to get bored anyway and start going to the moon because you're bored. So why not give it to somebody? Why not gift it to somebody? All these charitable organizations, all these people that need a little something, people on the come up, you know, why not do something for those people? And maybe it doesn't make you feel good to do something. Judy, Jessica Dupart, right? The Brat's wife, she's a person she is a philanthropist. She is, I have been watching her for a long time, and she's always been somebody that she has a big heart, like just giving. And again, when you make so much money, I think you need to. Yeah, I'm gonna say it. You need to. You need to give. Do you have to give publicly? No, but I'm saying you should be giving. And people should be able to attest and say, man, look, I know y'all don't know this. Like Deion Cole got on there about Cat Williams. I know y'all don't know this, but I want y'all to know that Cat Williams been giving all his life and he's a cool dude. Or I know y'all don't know this about Judy, but let me tell you about Judy. Judy gave me $20,000 a while ago, didn't know me, and I got a house. People should be able to attest to your character is all that I'm saying. People should be able to attest to who you are. And I think that a lot of people have attested to Cat Williams' character, stories or not, embellishments or not. And some people have also attested to the character of some of them other people he mentioned, and their attestments and their testaments have not been favorable. People been talking about Steve Harvey. Just people choose to listen or not, right? And of course, even when Cat Williams mentioned about Taraji and then people brought up Monique, why is it that when Taraji said it, people were more apt to listen, but when Monique said it, people weren't? And I'm going to be honest, I was never one of those people in the beginning that thought Monique was lying. When people are blackballed, when people are ostracized, when they're kicked out, when they're deemed hard to work with, I know that puts you in a place. We knew that from Janet Hubert and how she told us everything and what happened with Will Smith back then. We know that when you are blackballed, it puts you in a hard way. I understand that. We understand that. And I certainly understood what Monique was saying. I certainly understood what Monique was saying, and I didn't think she was any less credible because it was Monique saying it. And I don't think Taraji's any more credible because Taraji's saying it. Because Viola Davis has said the same thing. They keep calling her the Black Meryl Streep, but won't give her no Meryl Streep money. Even though she may be getting more money and is getting more money than Taraji and Monique. She still ain't getting Meryl Streep money, even though they keep comparing her to Meryl Streep. So here's my takeaway from the Cat Williams interview. Truth don't need no motivation. That was the thing he said that was really good. You having an unrealistic, what did he say? An unusual allegiance to losers. For some reason, that hit me really hard. Because I think I was thinking about something personally. Excuse me. He said a lot of things in there that I think were amazing takeaways. He set the internet on fire. He got everybody talking about him. Everybody make a video. So now we're going to go on this Dark Matter tour with him. I will admit, the last stand-up I watched of Cat Williams, I didn't really enjoy it. I didn't enjoy it. But I'm going to also say this. The last Dave Chappelle stand-up I saw, I didn't enjoy it either. Could it be something's changing with them? I don't know. I'm hoping that the next one will be better. I know Dave has a new one coming out. Cat has a new one coming out. He said it in the interview. Cat is also touring. He's gonna be here in Richmond in February, so I'll probably go if I can find a couple dollars. But there were so many truths. I know he talked about black men being in dresses. We've heard that assertion over and over again that some people are asserting to be successful in Hollywood. If you're a black man and you won't put on a dress, you won't be successful. We've heard that over and over again. Brandon T. Jackson did an interview not too long ago talking about that, and he felt like that ruined his career, although he did very clearly say, but it didn't ruin Tyler Perry's, or, he named some other people, and he said, but he felt like for him it did. There's a lot of sentiments in that I know a lot of black men feel very strongly about as it relates to that and what they feel like that does to them. And then there's some others where it doesn't bother them and they do it and they think it's funny and it's hilarious and they make their money and they keep moving on. All of us have lines that are drawn. Some of us, the lines are visible, and others of us, it's not. And then sometimes I think, depending on where you are and what you do, you might move the line back a little bit more. Maybe you said you wasn't going to smoke weed, but you moved the line back a little bit more, you did. Maybe you said you wasn't going to do heroin, but somebody told you to do it, you moved the line back a little bit more. But I think everybody has that line, and I think that Cat has a line, Dave has a line. It's obvious when Dave Chappelle left and went to Africa and dipped off. There's a line that some of these people are not willing to cross. And whether that line is partying too hard with P. Diddy, or going to Jeffrey Epstein's island, or selling your soul to the Illuminati. I didn't realize that somebody made this point, that somebody said that the Illuminati made Jennifer Hudson sacrifice her family. Y'all know she had multiple people die in her family from a shooting event, and they said that that was her exchange for propelling into Hollywood. I don't know, y'all, if the Illuminati is real. I don't. I know that there are high elitist organizations that exist for people that have much more money than I will ever have. And I think those organizations can be scary. But when you were blackballed, I think people do a great job of discrediting you so that the next time you open your mouth, nobody will ever believe you. And I think that's what has happened to Katt Williams. I think that happened to Monique. It happened to Amanda Seales. And then Amanda Seales was telling us about Sarunas Jackson from Insecure. And y'all didn't want to hear it because Amanda Seales been blackballed. But then we found out Darius Jackson was putting his hands on our cousin Keke Palmer. And now y'all was like, oh, but Amanda Seales said, oh, but y'all want to listen to her now. She another one's been blackballed. You can get blackballed in church. You can get blackballed in sports. You can get blackballed in politics. You can get blackballed in education. You can get blackballed in journalism. You can get blackballed in comedy. You can get blackballed in social media. And when you do get blackballed, they're going to make everything you say sound like a joke, look like a joke, and discredit you. What you say here, Mike? Yeah, that was a crazy comment for him to make, that he put in his contract that Ricky Smiley wear a dress in the next movie. In the next movie they did was First Sunday. That was a wild comment. Ooh, my goodness. But I will tell you this. Of all Ricky Smiley, Ice Cube, Kevin Hart, Faizon Love, I don't think Steve Harvey said anything yet. Ludacris, and let me tell you something, that Ludacris diss track didn't do what he thought he did, baby. I love Ludacris, but that wasn't the flex he thought it was. One thing that ain't none of them said yet was that he a lie. At least about the things he said about them. I'm not talking about some of these other claims, like being a Mensa card carrier since he was 10, and all those things, being admitted to school when he was 7. But I just saw an article pop up about a 7-year-old who has an IQ level of whatever, and a graduate school wants him to come. So I don't know why we would. All I'm saying is, I don't know why we would think that would be far-fetched. Kid geniuses exist. We see them all the time. There's a girl that just went to college last year and she's 12. And again, that article I just saw about, this boy was 7. Listen, Mike, all I'm saying is kid geniuses exist. Am I saying Katt Williams was a kid genius? I don't know, because I don't know that. He said he was. He said he's a Mensa card carrier. But what I'm saying is, we know that these things are real. I just don't think it's far-fetched that he could be. But what I'm more so talking about is what he said mostly. Some of those other things lost me. The 4-6 lost me. The 3,000 books every year from when he was 8 to 12 lost me. But what didn't lose me was what he spouted out and shared about his comedic peers. That didn't lose me. And that's not lost on me, because some of what he was saying, other people have said multiple times in other ways. That's all I'm saying. He even threw Puffy and T.D. Jakes and all them in there. And again, listen, people have these proclivities. I heard a comic say the things that people harp on the most are usually the things that they take pleasantries in. And what they were referencing was, they was talking about the fact that Dave Chappelle won't get off trans people and using trans jokes. And she said those are the people who, after they make their trans jokes, they go down to an area and pick up a trans person. And I'm not saying that applies to Dave Chappelle, but what I am saying is that there's a lot of truths that come out of comedy. There's a lot of embellishments, obviously, that come out of comedy. But I think Katt Williams deserved an opportunity to vindicate himself a little bit. No, Tiffany Haddish has something to say too, but she just got back outside. I think Tiff got to sit this one out, because we still trying to reckon with that video her and Aries Spears did. I know it was eons ago, but it is what it is. He got the internet talking. He got it buzzing. And 6 days in, and we can't stop talking. We can't keep our mouths shut. So I'm going to go see his next comedy show. It's going to be in Richmond in February. I'm going to find some money and I'm going to go. Okay? Because I got a lot of bills to pay. But I'm going to find some money and I'm going to go. And I wish all these people the best. I wish they would stop doing each other wrong. I want Shannon Sharpe to get Amanda Seales on his couch. I want Amanda Seales to get Cat Williams on her couch. I also want some of these celebrity interviewers to take a risk and take a chance and interview teachers. I need people to get serious about if they really want to help teachers or not. And I'm volunteering. I want these people to get serious about interviewing teachers and talking to teachers. If they really want to know what's going on, if they really want to help, they'll really interview teachers. And you got to take a risk because most of us are not going to be people in your circle because we're not celebrities and you don't know us, but it doesn't mean you can't talk to us. And it is going to be risky, but it'll be worth it if you really want to help and you really want to make some change. And then we got to talk about, before I close, because it's been way too long, we don't know what's going to happen in this election, y'all. It's scary out here. It's scary out here. The Republican Party, the Democratic Party, both of those parties are not looking good. And nobody is talking about the fact that gas is really low right now under the Democrats, because people like to always say it's only under the Republicans that we have low gas. And although that has been researched and proven pretty consistently, I want people to say it now, so I'm going to keep throwing it in my algorithm too. But I'm here to say that it's looking really scary on who's going to be our next president. Joe Biden is struggling. I think he's a great man. I think he's had some great accomplishments. But he's struggling, and not just because of his age, because there are people who are older than Joe Biden that have been sharp and are sharp, but he's struggling, and I just don't know what we're going to do. That's why you got to get your relationship with God, your relationship with your God, or whatever. You got to get yourself right. You got to get yourself tight, because no matter who's in office, you should still be okay. And you should have the confidence that no matter who's there, that you're going to be okay in some way, shape, or form, because it's crazy out here. I think that's all I have on my list. I know I went really long today. Now, listen, y'all, I don't know if I'm going to do Sound Off Saturday every week. I'm getting ready to go on a fast, and I've been praying about the details of the fast because I want to do it the way God wants me to do it and not just for show, form, or fashion. So I don't know what my next few weekends are going to look like. My birthday is on a Saturday. So it probably won't be on that Saturday. But when I am here, I want y'all to be here. And I thank y'all for joining me. And I hope that this year is going to be your best year yet. I really do. I'm not being deep or trying to prophesy, but I hope it's going to be your best year yet, my best year yet. I'm praying for financial breakthroughs. I'm praying that you soar in your career. I'm praying that you get the recognition you deserve, that you get the loans forgiven, that you get the congratulations, that you get the acceptance, that you get the you got it, that you got the jobs, you've been approved. I pray and hope that all of us get all of those things that we've been waiting on and we've been holding on for, y'all. All right? I got to go. Thank y'all for hanging with me. I got to go make some chili because it's cold here in the DMV. We didn't get no snow, but it's still cold and it's raining and all that good stuff. All right? Y'all take care. See you later. Bye.